Barisan and Perikatan to discuss GE seat distribution next week. Malaysia-Thai border security to be further strengthened. Good evening, I'm Cynthia Arthur. You're watching News at 10. Barisan Nasional BN and Perikatan Nasional PN will hold a meeting next week to discuss matters such as the distribution of seats in the upcoming general election. BN Secretary General Tan Sri Anwar Musa said the meeting, which will be held at the federal capital, will be attended by BN and PN presidents. Tan Sri Anwar further explained that the understanding between BN and PN, as shown in Perak recently, would be the basic framework for cooperation at the national level during the talks on seat distribution.
Ketiga-tiga presiden telah capai kata sepakat memberi empowerment kepada urustia untuk menyiapkan satu kerangka bagaimana semangat yang kita bentuk di Perak itu dapat dilanjutkan bagi kerjasama di peringkat nasional. Dan dia bermula dengan rundingan kerusi yang akan dilakukan minggu hadapan.
Tan Sri Anwar, who is also Member of Parliament for Ketere, said this to reporters after handing over COVID-19 aid for the third time at Kampung Tokong, Ketere, Kelantan today. Meanwhile, he clarified that Muafakat Nasional MN, which comprises UMNO and PAS, would never be registered as a coalition that would contest the elections. Tan Sri Anwar explained that MN was a movement for unification and unrestricted cooperation for politics and could even involve many parties. 2 observation posts will be constructed, as well as the addition of latest assets will be implemented using the allocation for Benteng to strengthen the Malaysia-Thailand border control. Senior Minister for Security, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, said the decision made by the National Task Force NTF, led by the Malaysian Armed Forces ATM, also involved cooperation with security agencies in neighbouring countries to strengthen border control in the area.
Seperti saya kata, kita tengok secara menyeluruh, secara menyeluruh. National Task Force yang diketuai oleh Angkatan Tentera Malaysia bagi Ops Benteng, kita telah pun mengadakan perbincangan. Panglima Angkatan Tentera dah pun berjumpa dengan semua agensi-agensi beruniform yang mengawal kawasan sempadan seperti Polis Diraja Malaysia, Jabatan Immigration, APMM, Custom, semua sekali. Kita dah sit down, dah bincang. Jadi dari segi penyelesaiannya secara menyeluruh. Kita bukan piecemeal satu-satu. Sebagai contoh, untuk memperkasakan kawalan kita di sempadan, di utara ni kita akan membina 2 pos kawalan sempadan. 2 lagi pos akan kita bina, dan juga equipment dari segi peralatan kita tambah lagi. Beberapa peralatan baru kita dah beli, kita tambah drone.
NTF has previously reported that it would increase security and boost defences at national borders following the incident of a border control personnel shot dead by smugglers. On 23rd November, a General Operations Force PGA Sergeant Baharuddin Ramli, aged 54, died after a shootout with smugglers, which also saw Sergeant Norihan Tari, aged 39, sustaining serious injuries. The police arrested a total of 241 individuals yesterday for breaching the Movement Control Order MCO set by the government to curb the spread of COVID-19. Senior Minister for Security Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said 202 of the total were compounded, while another 39 violators were remanded. The senior minister in a statement said the most committed offence was failure to provide check-in equipment with 78 cases, followed by failure to wear face mask in public areas at 77 cases and failure to observe physical distancing at 43. On Op Benteng, he said the authorities yesterday managed to detain a total of 51 illegal migrants and 1 skipper, apart from seizing 6 vehicles and 2 boats. He stressed that stern actions will be taken against any parties attempting to enter the country illegally, and the enforcement agencies will continue to tighten control at the border. Commenting on mandatory quarantine, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said from 24th July until 11th December, 86,398 individuals have returned to Malaysia, and they were placed at 78 hotels as well as 19 public training institutes and private education institutions nationwide. The Health Ministry (MOH) reported 1,937 new cases in Malaysia today, bringing the cumulative number of COVID-19 cases up to 82,246. According to a statement by Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, Selangor recorded the highest number of positive cases at 823, followed by Sabah at 429. Meanwhile, MOH reported 911 cases recovered and were discharged today, bringing the total recovered cases to 68,084, which translates to an 82.8% recovery rate. 121 cases are currently being treated in intensive care units, 66 of which require the use of ventilators. Furthermore, 3 new clusters were identified today at workplaces in several districts. They were dubbed the Bukit Gemuk cluster in Tawau, Sabah, the Binak Cendana site cluster involving Lembah Pantai in Kuala Lumpur, and the Dang Mutiara cluster identified in Selangor and Terengganu. MOH also reported 9 new deaths today, with the death toll currently standing at 411. Perfumes of assorted imitation brands worth over 1.7 million ringgit were seized during a raid at Jalan Chansolin in the nation's capital yesterday. The Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs (KPDN-HEP) conducted raids at 6 premises rented by an individual to store the said imitation brand perfumes. The ministry's enforcement director, Dato' Iskandar Halim Sulaiman, in a statement today said the counterfeit goods were obtained from China and after the packaging process will be distributed to wholesalers around the Klang Valley and also through online sales. Among the counterfeit brands were Burberry, Gucci, Victoria's Secret, Tommy, DKNY, Jo Malone and Michael Kors, among others. The raid was conducted by 11 personnel from the ministry's enforcement unit from Putrajaya following a 2-month investigation. It also found that 6 premises were rented by an individual as a storage place for artificial perfume stocks of various brands. Also involved in the raid were representatives of the trademark owners. 2 individuals, a woman and a man aged 37 and 43 respectively, have been detained for further questioning. The case is being investigated under Section 102, Subsection 1, Subsection C of the Trademark Act 2019. If convicted, a person can be fined not exceeding 10,000 ringgit for each item or imprisoned not exceeding 3 years or both. Coming up next, a stern warning against traders who abuse license. All traders have been issued with a stern warning by the Federal Territories Ministry against transferring license under the Free Business Region WBB to foreigners. According to its minister, Tan Sri Anwar Musa, traders found doing so would have their names blacklisted and their license would be revoked. He said that the authorities will investigate to ensure that the traders do not get more than 1 WBB license and it is issued only to Malaysian citizens. He added that those who wish to apply for the license must be physically present and MyCard scanner will also be used in order to avoid any misconducts and wrongdoings.
Bandaraya akan menggunakan IC scanner ataupun IC reader. Pemohon setelah memohon kena datang untuk cucuk dia punya IC bagi memastikan IC yang sah dan warga negara yang sah. Sesiapa yang mendapat lesen kemudian memberikannya kepada bukan warga negara, mereka akan di blacklist secara total. Jadi saya beri peringatan ini dan saya minta kenalah bekerjasama ya kepada warga penjaja di wilayah membalas balik apa yang saya lakukan dengan mengikuti dan mematuhi peraturan-peraturan yang kita adakan.
He said as of yesterday, the government has received a total of 3,300 applications for WBB license, with 1,700 of them being approved. He expressed hope that traders who have been issued with a license will operate their business according to the stipulated standard operating procedures (SOP). Informal and petty traders are urged to register their businesses with the relevant authorities in order to receive various aid from the Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Ministry, MEDAC, and its agencies. Its Minister, Dato' Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, said there are almost 2 million unregistered informal and petty traders nationwide. According to Dato' Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi, in a released statement today, the ministry is unable to channel any aid to them because of their unregistered status. He said the government is actually concerned about their situation, but the traders must first register so that the aid can be given through proper channels. The minister also advised entrepreneurs to make the necessary preparations in the migration of their business operations from traditional to digital in order to ensure their continued survival amid the COVID-19 pandemic. He added that based on studies conducted, some of the traders enjoyed as much as 500% increase in sales after migrating to an online business model. A total of 2 million ringgit has been allocated for the maintenance of infrastructures in Tanjung Sedili and Teluk Mahkota or Jason Bay in Kota Tinggi, Johor. According to Housing and Local Government Minister Zuraida Kamaruddin, this is to revitalise the domestic tourism industry post-COVID-19. The allocation funds will be channelled through Kota Tinggi District Council with 1 million ringgit allocated for each respective location.
Kita akan benakan jeti baru dan juga menaik taraf gerai-gerai PVT dan kita tambahkan juga lagi. Dari 9 gerai kita jadikan 18 kerana kita nak beri peluang kepada anak-anak muda, wanita untuk mulakan perniagaan di situ.
She expressed confidence that the infrastructure upgrade will restart the economy of the local community, including local authorities. In another related development, the Housing and Local Government Ministry, KPKT, also plans to build a Grade D fire and rescue station in Sedili with an estimated cost of 3 million ringgit. The Communications and Multimedia Ministry, KKMM, remains committed to solve the telecommunication coverage problem in areas with poor cellular reception in the country. Its Deputy Minister, Dato' Zahidi Zainul Abidin, said the ministry is making extensive efforts in order to provide stable network connection to the people. Explaining further on the matter, he said that the ministry is currently discussing with telecommunications companies to solve issues related to the absence of telecommunications network facilities and address complaints received regarding the matter.
Yang kita dapat banyak aduan ni adalah ketiadaan konektiviti. Ketiadaan di seluruh negara. Walaupun kita sebut bahawa kita contohnya kita kata lebih pada 95% di kawasan seluruh Malaysia ni kita ada konektiviti, tetapi kita lihat kadang-kadang tu ada satu bar, kadang-kadang bar tu hilang, jadi dia masih tidak ada kekuatan tu. Walaupun kalau kata maknanya 95% lebih, tetapi kekuatan tu masih agak kurang dan banyak kawasan.
He said this to reporters after attending a ceremony held in appreciation of the frontliners from the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM at the Padang Besar District Police Headquarters today, which was also attended by the District Police Chief Superintendent Saifuddin Aslin Abbas. Dato' Zahidi, who is also Member of Parliament for Padang Besar, added that the disruption of power supply is a contributing factor that disrupts the network due to the failure of communication transmitters to function properly. He explained that some generator sets used to sustain the transmitter's functions during power cuts were damaged, thus affecting the coverage in the respective areas. JPJ Federal Territory JPJWP Cooperative will further enhance the usage of MyTest in congruence with the increase of online activities during the movement control order in the country. Angkatan Koperasi Kebangsaan Malaysia Berhad Angkasa President Dato' Abdul Fattah Abdullah said this is to increase the passing rate for driving tests, apart from promoting the cooperative's products and help the people with their employment, especially in the e-hailing sector. Elaborating further, he said among the strategies implemented include improving the website accessibility and announcements for all driving institutes.
Dalam konteks ni produk ada, lepas tu lagi kita akan buat pemasaran, iaitu beritahu kepada ahli koperasi bahawa ada produk tu, dan yang paling penting ialah dia tahu macam mana nak dapat produk tu. Jadi itu kita akan gunakan seluruh koperasi yang ada sebagai platform, mana ahli boleh dapat di koperasi yang berkenaan. Itu salah satu daripada prinsip koperasi, iaitu bekerjasama memajukan bidang perniagaan dan ekonomi di kalangan koperasi-koperasi.
MyTest is a learning aid which contains 500 theoretical questions of the Driving Education Curriculum Theory KPP01 that can assist driving test candidates in preparing for the actual test. The Women, Family and Community Development Ministry, KPWKM, will provide an additional 8,000 contract jobs in the Social Welfare Department, JKM, next year. Its Minister, Dato' Sri Rina Muhammad Harun, said this is in line with the JKM restructuring, which aims to ease the burden of the existing staff and to further enhance the services provided to the people. Explaining further, she said a proposal has already been made and submitted to the Public Service Department.
Warga JKM tak ramai. Saya punya warga kementerian, saya sebut warga kementerian hanya dalam 7 ke 8, tak sampai lagi 8,000. JKM hanya dalam 6,000 lebih, yang turun kepada dalam 3,000 lebih untuk menjaga 32 juta rakyat Malaysia. So memang tak cukup. Jadi saya menyambut baik apabila baru-baru ni pembentangan MOF kata nak mewujudkan peluang pekerjaan selama 50,000 orang, dan dia telah masukkan Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat ini juga sebagai salah satu agensi yang perlu diberikan perhatian.
The minister added that the ministry also plans to take in additional JKM child protectors and moral officers, apart from increasing the number of contract staff. She noted that the job openings will provide opportunities to those who need to secure income in facing challenges amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Customers today no longer need to go through long queues to order food at Aeon and Aeon Big Food Halls, as all they have to do now is to scan the quick response QR code on each table with their smartphone. Aeon Co Malaysia Berhad Chief Human Resources Officer Dr. Kasuma Satria said apart from providing convenience, the new system reduces social interaction and ensures there is physical distancing in line with the new normal in adapting to COVID-19. He said customers are also given the option to pay online. He said after placing an order, they just have to wait for the queue number to be displayed to collect their food at the stall.
Apa yang lebih penting bukan setakat digital food court, tapi juga sebab apa yang kita bawakan adalah kita bersama dengan komuniti. Kita bawa menu-menu yang mana diingini digemari oleh masyarakat setempat. Tapi yang lebih penting adalah kita bagi peluang kepada pengusaha-pengusaha tempatan, kepada entrepreneur, kepada SME untuk bersama dengan kita, untuk mereka bersama dengan kita untuk bawa produk-produk mereka.
He said this at the reopening of Midtown Food Hall at Wang Samaju Aeon Big in the nation's capital today. Kasuma said Wang Samaju Aeon Big is the first branch to implement the new system before it is introduced in stages at 39 Aeon and Aeon Big food halls nationwide. After a 2-week closure, Midtown Food Hall now has a few facades featuring 10 food stalls offering various types of cuisine. Kasuma said the company also intends to attract more small and medium entrepreneurs, especially those that have gained popularity on social media platforms, to start their business at the mall food halls. said Peru suspends clinical trials of Chinese COVID vaccine.
MERS 999 application system. Getting emergency assistance is now easier. Save Me 999 Police connects the Malaysian public to the police. Save Me 999 Deaf for those with hearing or speech impairments. And Save Me 999 Blind for those with visual impairments. Download now for free on your smartphones. MERS 999 and applications make emergency calls easier.
Peru has temporarily suspended clinical trials of a COVID vaccine made by Chinese drug giant Sinopharm after detecting neurological problems in one of its test volunteers. The National Institute of Health said Friday that it had decided to interrupt the trial after a volunteer had difficulty moving their arms, according to local media. One of the trial participants presented neurological symptoms which could correspond to a condition called Guillain-Barre Syndrome, according to Chief Research German Malaga in comments to the press. Guillain-Barre Syndrome is a rare and non-contagious disorder which affects the movement of the arms and legs. Peru declared a temporary health emergency in 5 regions in June last year, following multiple cases. Peru's clinical trials for the Sinopharm vaccine were due to conclude this week after testing around 12,000 people. If they are successful, which won't be known until mid-2021, the Peruvian government was expected to buy up to 20 million doses to inoculate 2/3 of its population. 60,000 across the globe have already taken the Sinopharm vaccine, including volunteers in Argentina, Russia and Saudi Arabia. Peru has one of the world's highest per capita death rate from the virus, which as of Friday had caused 36,499 deaths and 979,111 infections. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, said it authorized the use of Pfizer Inc.'s COVID-19 vaccine on Friday, with the first inoculations expected within days, marking a turning point in the United States, where the pandemic has killed more than 292,000 people. The FDA granted an emergency use authorization for the vaccine, developed with German partner BioNTech, which was shown to be 95% effective in preventing the disease in a late-stage trial. Healthcare workers and elderly people in long-term care facilities are expected to be the main recipients of a first round of 2.9 million doses. A mounting U.S. death toll has tempered enthusiasm about a coming COVID-19 vaccine, with 9/11-like fatalities projected every day for the months ahead. Another 2,902 U.S. deaths were reported on Thursday, a pace projected to continue for the next 2 to 3 months until the vaccine can be widely distributed. Those daily tolls are roughly equivalent to the 2,996 killed in the attacks of September 11, 2001, and greater than 2,403 killed in the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor, traumatic events that reshaped the United States for years. Officials have said that Pfizer and the U.S. government will begin distributing the shots within 24 hours of receiving a regulatory green light, and hospitals are planning to give healthcare workers the first shots early next week. '21 MHL to be held behind closed doors. Stay with us. The 2021 Malaysian Hockey League MHL Championship will be held centrally at the Bukit Jalil National Hockey Stadium without the presence of spectators. Malaysian Hockey Confederation MHC Competition Committee Chairman Datuk Seri Anil Jeet Singh said the decision was made due to concerns over the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as difficulties in ensuring spectators complied with the set standard operating procedures (SOP). In a press conference today, he said it is not easy to ensure that every spectator follows the prescribed SOP properly. The tournament, to be held from 14th January to the 20th of February, is the first on MHC's calendar for 2021.
If you ask me very honestly, as a competition director, memang saya tak maulah. Kerana saya takut jikalau ada penonton, SOP tu susah kita nak kawal. Bukan senang nak kawal SOP ni. Baru-baru ni pun, kes kemarin pun kita ada nampak kan. Tapi kita mengharapkan tidak menjejaskan liga ni lah.
Considering the COVID-19 pandemic, Dato' Sri Anil said the 2021 season would be held under a new format where each team will play one match against all the others in the league, with the team at the top of the table emerging as the champion. The top 4 teams in the league will then enter the 2021 TNB Cup for the men's category and the Vivian May Soares Cup for the women's category, with 2-legged semi-final fixtures to determine which teams reach the final. The Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid clash on Saturday evening could be the game that spells the end of a serious title challenge from either of the Clásico teams this season. With the Madrid derby looming, Real coach Zinedine Zidane admitted that La Liga leaders Atletico Madrid were likely to win the title. Atletico last won the Spanish title in 2014 and came third last season as Real Madrid won it with Barcelona second. Real Madrid trail Atletico by 6 points despite having played one more than their poor cousin City rivals. Both sides went through to the Champions League knockout phase in midweek. The City derby will take place without a fervent crowd, with Real Madrid aiming to end Atletico's 10-game unbeaten run in La Liga this season. Real Madrid welcomed back captain Sergio Ramos in Wednesday's Champions League victory over Borussia Mönchengladbach, while Zidane said that midfielder Federico Valverde and fullback Dani Carvajal will also be in contention for a return. However, they remain without attacking trio Eden Hazard, Luka Jovic and Mariano Diaz, as well as midfielder Martin Odegaard. Atletico defenders Jose Gimenez and Manu Sanchez, as well as striker Diego Costa, will be missing through injury. Bayern Munich's treble-winning Robert Lewandowski joined regulars Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi as the 3 finalists for the Best FIFA Men's Player Award. Lewandowski was top scorer for Bayern in the Champions League with 15 goals, as well as the Bundesliga 34 goals, and was a firm favourite for the Ballon d'Or award before it was cancelled because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Despite being denied the Ballon d'Or award, the Polish striker can still lay claim to being the best player if he picks up the FIFA award, which will be presented at a ceremony on the 17th of December. His former teammate and current Liverpool midfielder Thiago Alcantara was also nominated. Lewandowski's coach, Hansi Flick, is one of the 3 finalists for the Men's Coach of the Year, along with Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp and Leeds United's Marcelo Bielsa. The Best FIFA Women's Player Award will go to one of Olympique Lyonnais' Wendy Renard, Manchester City defender Lucy Bronze, or Chelsea forward Pernille Harder. Meanwhile, Chelsea manager Emma Hayes, Lyon's Jean-Luc Vasseur and New England manager Serena Wegman are the 3 finalists for the Women's Coach of the Year award. That's it from us this evening. In our top story, Barisan and Perikatan to discuss GEC distribution next week. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. I'm Cynthia Arthur. Thank you for watching.